What's going on, everyone? We are back, and there's a brand new Team 3 stage Affinity out now. The Orioles reward here is 98 overall Jim Palmer. To me, he seems like a pretty good pitcher, 124 stamina with 89 strikes per 9. He has a 4-seam fastball, 12-6 curve, slider, 2-seam fastball, and changeup. Palmer seems to have pretty good pitch differential speeds, as his fastball is 95 miles an hour, and then his changeup goes as slow as 78 miles an hour. Here for the Boston Red Sox, you get a right-handed hitter in Dwight Evans, who's a right fielder. He can also play left and center, but also he can be a first baseman. So he has 89 contact versus right, 116 versus left, 88 power against right, and 98 power against lefties. His fielding is 94, so he probably won't make many errors. His arm strength is 99, so if someone's running home, you know you can gun him out. And his arm accuracy is 94. Next up here we have Don Mattingly, who also looks pretty good. He's a first baseman with diamond defense, 92 fielding, which for a first baseman, you don't really need the rest of the stuff. He has great contact versus righties and lefties at 115 and 105. Not great power, but he has a decent amount of power at 77 and 80. And not to mention, he can also play the outfield in left and right field. Here we have Fred McGriff. He's a first baseman and has no secondary positions. His hitting looks absolutely amazing. 114 contact versus right, 99 versus left, 98 power against right, and 102 power against left. The only downside would be the fielding, with 70 fielding, but I feel like with the first baseman, you don't really need to prioritize fielding. Here for the Toronto Blue Jays, we have Tom Henke, which is a brand new card in this game. He has 30 stamina, which for a closing pitcher, you kind of expect. He has 3 pitches, a 4-seam fastball, a forkball, and a slider. I feel like that this could be an effective card just because I feel like not many people have forkballs, so that could throw you off. Next up, we have the AL Central, and we're starting off with the White Sox. Here we have Paul Konerko, who his hitting stats look absolutely amazing. 96 contact versus right, 107 versus left, 95 power against right, and 106 power versus left. He also has no secondary positions, which I feel like hurts him a bit, but he has common defense, so I feel like the only real place to keep him would be first base. Next up here we have someone who I'm really looking forward to, Jim Thome of the Cleveland Indians. Look at that contact and power. As you know, he could hit bombs all day. So he got 119 contact versus right, 125 power versus right, and then even against lefties, 89 contact and 94 power, and then 65 vision, which isn't the best, but he's a brand new legend, so I feel like he's worth a shot. Here for the Detroit Tigers, we got a 99 overall Al Kaline, who looks pretty good. Earlier in the year, we had like a 87 overall, I think it was, overall Al Kaline, but this one looks so much better. He has 107 contact versus righties, 122 versus lefties, 87 power versus righties, and 95 power versus lefties. So not only can this card hit very well, but also he can hit some bombs with 113 vision, which is a lot, so his PCI should be pretty big. Not to mention his 96 fielding and his 93 arm strength, so he can gun some runners out as well. Next up here we have George Brett. So this kid looks very good. 123 contact versus right, 114 versus left. Not the best power at 85 and 80, but his vision is 120, so his PCI is just going to be like Al Kaline. And then he also has great fielding at 85, so I feel like for a third baseman, fielding is a lot more important than first base. Here at third base for the Minnesota Twins, we get a Harmon Killebrew. So if you don't really care about defense, I would definitely suggest him. Also, Killebrew can play first and left, so you could always put him at first, but 102 contact versus righties, 92 versus lefties, 121 versus righties, and 125 versus lefties, not to mention the 96 vision. So I have a feeling that this card is just going to hit bomb after bomb. Here for the Los Angeles Angels, we get Tim Salmon, which is also a brand new legend. And he kind of reminds me of the Joe Adele card, just not as fast as Adele. He has 105 and 108 contact versus righties and lefties, and then 104 and 101 power versus righties and lefties with 86 vision. And then his fielding's not the best as it's silver, but I feel like with such a big bat, I could definitely overlook that. So I feel like if you're looking for more hitting, someone like Tim Salmon would be great. Whereas if you're looking for hitting and defense, someone like Al Kaline would be better. Next up here we have Catfish Hunter. So this card looks pretty good. He has 122 stamina. So for stamina, he kind of reminds me of a Newhouser card where he can pitch 9 innings, and then he has a pretty good mix of pitches, as he has a 4-seam fastball, a slider, a changeup, a curveball, and a 2-seamer. So he has 5 pitches, so you can definitely mix it up with him. Next up here we have a card that I'm looking forward to getting and hope to get somewhat soon. We have Jay Buhner. He was in the game last year as well, and I hit pretty well with him. So not only is he a great hitter though, but he can also defend. So he has 89 contact versus righties, 99 versus left, and then for power he has 108 versus right and 114 versus left. Not only that, but he also has 85 fielding and also 99 arm strength, so he can gun down runners at the plate as well. Next up here we have a shortstop in Michael Young. He can also play first, second, and third, so he can play anywhere in the infield but catcher and pitcher. And then for him, he has 121 and 115 contact, and then decent power with 79 and 73. And then he has great fielding. He has 85 fielding and 80 arm strength and 82 accuracy. So depending on where you put him, if you put him somewhere like shortstop or third base, that fielding could definitely help out. Next up here for the Houston Astros, we have Jeff Bagwell, who once again, he somewhat reminds me of Killebrew, if I'm being honest here, because bronze defense, so not the best defense, but his hitting looks absolutely amazing. 104 contact versus right, 125 versus left, 101 power versus right, 110 against left, and on top of that, 91 vision. Now, moving on to the NL East, we have John Smoltz, who looks like a beast of a pitcher. He has a 5-pitch mix, 117 stamina, so he can probably go the whole game just like Newhouser and Catfish Hunter. I think the differential between the pitches is also key here, because his fastball goes to 97, but his curveball goes only to 77. Here for the Miami Marlins, we got AJ Burnett. He's a 97 overall. He has pretty good stamina, a great fastball, a sinker. I feel like that I'll probably get this card just because I already completed stage 2, so I'm pretty close to getting him already. Next up here we have an Al Leader card. For the Marlins collection, you get this card, but it's a gold version. He has a sinker, cutter, curveball, slider, and 4-seam fastball. I personally, like, this card looks good but not great. And the reason why I say that is just because the sinker, cutter, and 4-seam all have similar speed. So if you're just sitting for that pitch, I feel like he might be kind of hittable. Here for the Philadelphia Phillies, we have Mike Schmidt. He's a third baseman, and he can also play first base. I feel like this card at third would be a really good card, especially if you do not have Chipper Jones, because he has the fielding unlike Chipper, but also, boy, can he hit. 87 contact versus righties, 108 versus lefties, 106 power versus righties, and 122 power versus lefties. Here for the Washington Nationals, we're getting a Montreal Expo great, Andre Dawson. This card is yet another great fielder and hitter. He has 102 contact versus righties, 108 versus left, 84 power versus right, and 96 versus left, with 101 vision. And not to mention that 97 arm strength, so just like Jay Buhner, he'll be able to throw people out at the plate. Also, he has 85 speed, so he can probably steal a few bags as well. Next up for the Chicago Cubs, we have Kerry Wood. He had a bullpen card, but now he has a starting pitcher card that's a 97 overall. This card looks pretty good, especially if you pitch well with that Kerry Wood card from the bullpen. And his pitch speeds vary, which is also pretty good, because the fastball goes 99, the slurve goes 85, the curveball is 76, the changeup is 82, and the cutter is 91. So I feel like the pitch speeds vary, which is really good. Here for the Cincinnati Reds, we get Eric Davis, great hitter and great defender, and also he's a great speedster as he has 96 speed. For hitting, it's 84 and 95 contact. For power, it's 95 and 112 with 65 vision. So I probably would not go with Eric Davis at first, but like if you're close to getting the Reds collection done, then go for it. Here for the Milwaukee Brewers, this is a good card, just like all of these, but I feel like this one might be the worst Team 3 Team Affinity card, just because we already have Player of the Month Correa, and also Player of the Month Didi, and then also Ernie Banks if you have him. So like those are 3 shortstops that I feel like are better than Robin Young. He has amazing contact versus righties and lefties, decent power against righties and lefties, great vision at 114, great fielding at shortstop, and he can also play left field and center field, and then decent speed at 71. Here for the Pittsburgh Pirates, we got a Jason Kendall card. He's a right-handed batter, great contact, even better than Robin Young at 118, 115. Not the best power, but 120 vision, so you better bet that PCI is going to be absolutely huge. Gold defense, and for a catcher, decent speed at 75. I feel like that's one thing that sticks out about this card for me. Here for the St. Louis Cardinals, we got Lou Brock. This is definitely not the best outfielder, but I feel like I might get him because I already got Nolan Gorman. But the thing that sticks out is the 99 speed and high contact. So like if he hits a single, then he can steal second and third. So I feel like he would be a good leadoff hitter, and also he has gold defense. So also he's not the best defender, but he can get it done. Here for the Arizona Diamondbacks, we got a Matt Williams card that looks pretty good. I probably won't use him because I'll probably go after Harmon Killebrew. But he has 97 contact versus right, 121 versus left, 88 power versus right, 109 versus left, and 100 vision. And also great defense. He kind of reminds me of Chipper Jones, but obviously a better defender, because like Chipper against lefties just absolutely rakes. Here for the Rockies, this is a card I'm pretty excited about. It's Dante Bichette. Once again, not the best defender, but I feel like I'll probably use him at some point because that hitting just looks so good. 111 contact versus righties, 114 versus lefties, 90 power versus righties, and 100 versus lefty. Here for the Dodgers, we got Oral Hershiser. I feel like this might be either Kerry Wood would be the best pitcher from this, or Oral Hershiser, just because he had a gold card in this game. So if you pitch well with that card, you better bet you're probably going to pitch well with this card. He has a sinker, cutter, curveball, changeup, and slider with 118 stamina and 96 hits per 9. Here for the San Diego Padres, we got Tony Gwynn. I feel like this card resembles him. He was a great hitter, didn't hit too many homers, a very good fielder, and then also good speed. So I feel like this card is accurate, and I feel like this could be a usable card in the outfield. Lastly, here we have Juan Marchico from the San Francisco Giants. This pitching card looks good also. He has 125 stamina, which is the max, and he throws a slider, four-seam, screwball, which is interesting, curveball, and changeup. Thank you guys all so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe.